How did you, in the process of this, going to school, breadwinner, mommy, wife, how did you take care of you?
I will be honest, I didn't. I didn't.
I'll be honest, I think that's every woman. I didn't.
No, I was always on the go. I was quick. I wanted to make sure everything was taken care of. The boys, the house, everything. I left me for the end. That changed though.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Good afternoon. Good morning. I take that back. It's 10 o'clock. Some traffic jam out there. Everybody's stuck in traffic right now. Anyway, welcome to Badass Agents, Women in Real Estate. That's what we're talking about today, as always. Every morning, I have somebody new coming in. So I want to tell a quick story because it's going to bring me up to a really good point, and I'm going to introduce my guest in a little bit. I'm excited to introduce her because I think her and I see eye to eye in a lot of things. I remember a couple of years back, years ago, like 15 years ago, probably way more back than that. Anyway, I'm a little off on my years, but let's get to the point. I used to work for an orthodontist, a great, great man. Till this day, he is actually one of my many mentors. I adore him. He's fabulous. He's an awesome business owner. And I'm not going to announce what orthodontist it is, but he is great. Anyway, I remember working for him and always asking him what's next in my position. I was a salesperson. I started being an auxiliary, so it was kind of like helping him assist him and doing things in the back end, and then kind of always wanting what's next. I always wanted to learn new things in the industry. And then one day I was just like asking him, when I got really great in sales, it was like, so I used to sell products for him at one point, and it was just like, okay, what's next? And he was just like, well, this is where it ends. And I'm like, what do you mean this is where it ends? I want more. I want to do more. And so I remember I got the great opportunity being presented to me as, hey, let's open up a franchise kind of deal. I'm like, all right. So I remember talking to him and saying, hey, I'm going to kind of open up my store and giving you my 2 weeks kind of deal. So it literally, I jumped. I'm a risk taker. And that's just who I am. I've always been a risk taker. And I didn't think twice. I have an opportunity to open up a franchise. Let's do this. I went from a job to a business owner. I was like, woo! I went from one step to a massive step, which is great. And I lost it all. But that's besides the point. Anyway, the point was, I'm a risk taker. It went literally from getting an opportunity without thinking twice. I was like, let's do this. And I remember him telling me, good luck. But it was a good luck of like, good luck, you're not going to make it. Good luck, it's hard. That's it. And you can feel that energy and that vibe that I was like, I wasn't really getting what I wanted from him. And that was okay. He's a great man. He turned out to be, like I said, he turned out to be one of my mentors. So it wasn't anything on that. It was just more of me that I felt like a little insecure, like, am I going to make it? So I love the fact that he didn't pat me on the back and said, oh, best of luck, best decision ever. He just said, good luck. So anyway, this brings me to introducing my next guest because we're going to talk about this. We're risk takers and we love it. We're women. We're entrepreneurs and we want more. So here we are, Betty Bautista. And let me introduce her. Betty Bautista, you have been in the industry for 12 years.
That is correct.
Talk to me. What got you in the industry? What made you want to say, I want to become a real estate agent?
I was working in a corporation, and I was doing that for 10 years. I was working in a corporation for 10 years. Before that, I was in a job for 5. Anyhow, I climbed the ladder really fast, and I got to management position, and I was excited. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm in the corporate field, in the corporate world. And I remember having an annual review with my boss, and I said, all right, so what's next? And he's like, well, you are one of the top office managers. You are one of the top pay. And I said, all right, what's next? He's like, well, I don't know. That was an eye-opener. I'm like, you don't know what's next for me? Okay, so in that moment, it triggered something. I needed to figure something out. I don't remember how old I was back then, but I was in my late 20s, and I didn't want to be capped out in a corporation. So I looked into lots of avenues. I looked into becoming a cop. I did my exam to become a police officer. My dad was not so happy with that, so there went that idea. Border Patrol, also, how can I do that, right? My dad again, and till I decided, you know what, real estate. I don't even know how. Yeah, my brother-in-law was doing real estate, and I'm like, seems like a good idea. So I went and took my real estate exam, and having little ones and trying to take the test and doing everything. But
How old were your kiddos when you were in the process of that?
so that was 12 years ago. My youngest was probably 6.
Wow.
So,
And you were married
yes, I'm married with 3 boys.
with 3 boys. You
Yes.
don't have any girls?
No, 3 boys. I have 2 granddaughters,
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
see. Okay, 2 granddaughters. You have 3
Yes.
boys. How old are your boys now?
25, 21, and 18.
One's a hairstylist, right? He's a barber.
He's a girl, not a
I know,
hairstylist,
sorry,
a
take that
barber.
back. If you're listening to this, I take that back. Barber.
Chris, she apologizes.
I apologize for that. But hairstyle.
Yes.
I'm barber. Okay, that's great.
It's a difference.
Yeah. So when you were going to school and they were toddlers, how was that for you? Was it tough?
It was hard. It was hard because not only did I have to go to work, come home, cook, clean, do the wife thing, and still try to incorporate school, and it was hard.
You know, I have to say this as we were talking. You had said you were the breadwinner.
Yes.
How was that for you? How did you feel? Because when we're breadwinners, you either, I don't know, you fall into that role, which I think is very empowering, by the way, and congratulations to a lot of women out there who are breadwinners, because I think it's an awesome role to be in. You know, you definitely know you're a powerhouse, independent woman that can take it, and sometimes the men feel threatened by that.
They do.
They feel threatened, and they're okay the first 1 or 2 years, and they're like, this is great. My wife's a badass. But after a while, they tend to hang out with their group of friends or people around them, and they're like, well, no, you're a little punk. Your wife makes more money than you. So they start to feel like, I don't know, disempowered. They don't feel like men anymore.
Right.
How was that in your marriage?
It was difficult. In my case, he kind of isolated, and that's not good. But I did not know any different. I was always head of household. I wanted to make it easy for everyone. If I could help anyone, that's just what I do. And
it's kind of nice to know, because your boys are growing up watching a powerhouse like their mom is taking over. Their mom calls the shots. So, it's nice. Again, nowadays that's more and more nowadays. But the fact that the kids were watching you 12 years ago, that you were the breadwinner, I mean, that's a powerful feeling right there.
no, it is. And when your kids come home, I remember one of them came home and they're like, who do you admire? And they said, my mom. She works hard. She has long, pretty hair. I don't have it. But it's just like they're watching you. They've always admired, and they've appreciated what I've done. So that's empowering, right? So
Yeah.
it pays off. It
Yeah.
pays off. It's not easy.
How did you, in the process of this, going to school, breadwinner, mommy, wife, how did you take care of you?
I will be honest. I didn't. I didn't.
I'll be honest. I think that's every woman. I didn't.
No, I was always on the go. I was quick. I wanted to make sure everything was taken care of. The boys, the house, everything. I left me for the end. That changed, though. That's changed, which is a good thing, right?
Now you're living by yourself, right?
I live by myself with my 2 sons. So it's just us. And it's different. It's much different. Why? Because they still see me. I still get up and I go. But now they've learned that mom gets up and she goes on a run. She has her coffee. She meditates. She reads. I do a lot of different things.
When did you find that in your life that was important? Like, what point in your life did you say, taking care of me has to become something far more important than anything else?
It was when I was in the coaching program here. It was very, very, very hard to have someone look at you in your face and say, you're not a savior. I'm like, oh, shit. Sorry. You're not a savior. You're a leader. And I'm like, so in order for you, and it took a long time for me to understand this, in order for me to give the best of Betty, not only to my clients, to my kids, to my family, is to take care of me first. Because if I'm not good, then what am I going to give, right? Like, fluff, and I can posture or pose for a little bit and then go and into reality. No, I get up and I take care of me, and it's so much better. It's so much easier to feel just to, feel good. Why? Because I prepare myself mentally every morning. Like, I get up and the first thing I do is give God a thank you for another day, for allowing me to do the things that at a higher level. But first, and it's me. I take care of me. And
so
now
one of the things that you said here is the coaching program here helped you see through that, see more of you.
Yes.
That was not there. What was the transition time of your thought of like, okay, there's more to me that I know that's there. It has just been, it's somewhere. Betty needs to go get it.
Right.
Did you decide to come here to A.Z. & Associates?
It's actually, I was introduced to you guys by my son. He had been following you guys for a while.
Really?
Not Chris, but Eric.
Oh, yeah, Eric Bautista, yeah.
Yes. So Eric he's like, Mom, we have to go, we have to go to this brokerage.
Is that incredible, though, Betty? I'm so sorry. God, I have a habit of interrupting this whole point. How we were talking about how our children have to empower our parents.
Yes.
But go ahead.
No, he was like, Mom, we have to check it out. We don't have to make any changes. Let's go check it out, because we were in a team together, right? And we come here, and it just felt right. The moment we walked in, they're like, okay, so you guys are a team. It was 4 of us. You guys are a team? Yes.
Well, you are.
So who's the leader? And we're like, oh, we all work equally here. And I remember AZ's like, there has to be an alpha. Cannot all be omegas.
At that point, you raised your hand?
I was like, hello.
I'm right here. All right, let's be real. I'm the alpha.
So it was a hard transition. I kid you not. It was a hard transition, but it was the best decision. And I didn't take long because I can tell when people are trying to sell you or trying to convince you. There was no convincing. It just felt right. I mean, the moment we had our meeting, we decided right then and there.
The decision to make the...
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that. I love that. The hard. What do you mean by hard?
As far as what?
What you just said right now was hard.
It was hard because...
In what sense?
Okay, it was hard because I knew that coming here, like the moment you walk in, you can feel the energy, you can feel it's a different level of, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a different level of, like, I felt like, okay, we're going to be expected to perform, not just pretend like we're busy, like we're going to be, and I would just see your agents, once I followed your page and I started seeing you guys actually are out there selling. You're actually not just calling yourself real estate agents. You're actually performing. You're actually closing. So I knew coming in here, I was going to have to rise up.
It's going to be a challenge. I love that. We're definitely not going to make you feel comfortable.
No, it wasn't like, oh, it's okay, come on in, we're good. It was like, you're here and you're going to perform.
And so, Betty, I want to talk about your business a little bit, because you are extremely, you're blowing up. You are blowing up now. You have, you've hired on some staff members.
Yes.
On board.
Yes.
So, Betty, you got sick the other day.
Yes. Have vertigo, Carla.
I want you to tell everybody, because this is interesting. Betty posted this whole entire, I have a high fever. Well, it was fever, right? I saw her on Facebook, and she says, I feel sick, I have a fever, anybody has a remedy. And
right.
I remember calling you and say, I'll tell you the remedy, get your ass out of bed. I remember telling you, and this is a remedy that I told her. And it really wasn't the remedy of get your butt out of bed. It was more of the remedy of enjoy yourself being sick. Because it's just the process. One, it's a cold and it'll go away. But I think when we're feeling so good and everything's going the way it should be, and our business is great, our relationship with our kids are good, everything's going good, somehow we get sick. Yeah. This sickness comes because it just seems too good. And when you're sick and you're really on the low, on your bed, having a fever, you're like, I have so much to do and so many things are passing me by, and that's not the case.
Right.
And when I called you, I was like, you might understand, like, it's kind of telling you take a step back and just relax.
Right.
Now you're at a point in your life that you're able to stay in bed for a week if you needed to,
Yes.
and just enjoy that process.
Right.
But you were just trying to find a remedy to feel better, and it
Yeah.
was like, no, you just got to let it pass. Enjoy yourself because, well, you have staff that's running your
Yes.
business right now. So tell me how it went from that transition, because your business is blowing up.
It has, and I'm very grateful for that, and I have a great staff. But it took me actually. It was hard for me to let go. I wanted to do everything. We can't do everything on our own, right? I always wanted to just. I mean, I hired a TC, and it just made my life so much easier. I wanted to do everything by myself. Now I have 2 assistants, and they make my life so much easier. I am so grateful for them. Why? Because they're able to take care of the things that I'm not able to, and I can help my clients more.
So, and I love this, and I want to talk about this because there's been a couple of women I approached over the month actually. This is a really great point, because us as women, we want to do it all.
Yes.
And being in real estate, when you're starting off in real estate, you know, or you've been in the industry for like 12, 15 years, and you still kind of go up and down and say, I've had assistant 3 years ago, it didn't work out, 2 years ago, and you're constantly having assistants or staff members and coming in and out, and you're just like, well, I just don't have enough work, or they don't know what they're doing and they're making mistakes, so I'm gonna do it all myself. So a lot of us kind of do that when we're like, we could just handle it ourselves. It's all easy. So we're kind of tapping into every single department in our real estate business.
Right.
So I've told women it's the best thing to keep it consistent on having staff on board. Regardless if times are good and times are bad, keep consistent on having staff on board.
Right.
Because when times are bad, you kind of take a step back and start to process what is my next move.
Right.
When times are good, obviously, you need the staff, right?
Right.
But what can you tell us, because I can say this, hire staff. We can't do it all. If you want to be successful, you just cannot do it all.
You cannot.
Period.
Right.
You'll be working every single department and you will burn out.
Right.
So I know when people are like, well, I don't have enough.
Right.
I don't make enough. It's like, find a way. There's
Right.
always a way.
Right.
I promise you that. You're just not willing to go there.
Right.
What gave you that mindset of like, I need staff, and this is going to be good, and it's always going to be good. Regardless if times are bad, it's always going to be good. I need staff.
Right. Well, what triggered me was I knew I can do so much, but I can only do so much in a day, right? So being able to hire someone to do the things, maybe like paperwork, right, or follow up, or just things that are time consuming, I was limiting myself. Without a staff, I was limiting myself. With staff, I was able to, they've taken on, and they just do. And it allows me to be able to help more families, be able to be more in connection instead of worrying about having to go back to the office real quick to make sure that I'm in compliance with all my paperwork, taking care of things that were not, I was limiting myself without.
And so that's what I guess my next question to you was, what can your clients expect from you? And now they can expect all of Betty.
Exactly. Yes, because I don't have to run to the office to upload a contract, or I don't have to run to the office to shuffle paperwork. They get me, and it's like, it's a more enjoyable Betty.
I was just going to say, they get literally all of Betty.
Yes.
They get Betty in the moment, present,
yes.
100%.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yes.
So you're able to now utilize your staff where it's needed, so Betty can be present for her clients.
Exactly.
And now you see your business growing.
I have.
And now you have a staff. I mean, you have a whole office that you go in there. People are typing away. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about, Betty.
Yes.
So, what would you tell a lot of the agents out there who've been in the industry for quite some time and are like, where can I get there? I mean, how can I get to where Betty's at right now after 12, 15 years? Some of them are still out there trying to struggle on what is next in their real estate business. They're just kind of okay with running real estate the way it's running, and a deal here and there, and not capable of growing it more massive like the way they want to be, because they're kind of going up and down. And again, staff members are constantly coming in and out, right? Because we're losing business, we're gaining business. It's like, how do you keep that consistent?
Right.
But again, I already asked you that. So I want you to tell us, how can you tell that agent who's starting to wanting to grow that staff, like where to start?
And I could tell you, like, I always was pretty consistent with what I did in real estate until I decided to remove that cap, like to stop limiting myself and hire someone. And that actually holds you accountable. It holds you accountable, and it lights a fire in you know where. I'm like, all right, I need to pay these people. How am I going to do that? But no, it's stop limiting yourself. That's the only thing I could tell you. You can only do so much on your own. So I'm very, very happy. I started implementing this the end of 2018, and AZ just asked me, how are you doing? And I'm like, well, you'll see at the end of the quarter.
Keep an eye on me.
Yes. So it's just don't limit yourself. That's my suggestion. And I wish I could have done this sooner. I mean, AZ kept mentioning it to me about a year ago, and I'm like, oh no, I can do this. Until I removed that blindfold and that cap, I was able to grow.
Well, congratulations, Betty. You're
Thank
doing
you.
great. You really are. And I'm so glad to have brought you here. And you're doing great. Your business is blowing up. And I wanted you to share that a little bit, because you are the breadwinner. And it's like you kept going. You didn't let anything stop you.
No.
Was there any time in your life, while you were in real estate, that made you think like, I know you said you've always been consistent, but there has to be a point in your life where you're just like, is this for me?
For sure. And I've always been consistent, meaning I kind of was just cruising.
Yeah.
I didn't actually rise up to where I needed to be, right? So it's like I was kind of just cruising, just staying in the comfort zone and doing, right? Instead of actually being intentional and actually performing and showing up like a business owner and showing up every single day.
I love that. I mean, if that's, I think that part is missing in a lot of people. Exactly that, showing up like a business owner.
Right.
Because essentially that's what you are. You are a business owner. You're not just a real estate agent.
Right.
You are a business owner.
Right.
And you have to represent your business with pride and confidence and, that grind that you love to be in your position.
Right.
You're not just cruising. You're not just working for your company. You're the owner of your company.
Right.
And
Right.
that's how we need to show up. Well, thank you, Betty, for joining us.
My pleasure.
But what would you tell a lot of the agents out there who are wanting to make a change, to get out of that comfort zone and come on board?
I mean, it's good to get out of your comfort zone. I would say if I can do things all over again, I would start with finding a company that is going to mentor you. And not only like, oh, okay, this is what you have to do and show you how to write a contract. No, every week I get something new from, I love my Mindset Mondays. Like AZ just does something, and I love it. And I've never had anyone, I've been in the business for 12 years. None of my brokers have ever called and said, all right, I have the remedy for you. Get off your... I'm like, no, you didn't say that. You said stay in bed, enjoy. So it's not like, okay, you have to join a brokerage that grows with you, that doesn't limit you, that cares. Like they light you guys light a fire, but it's all around. Like I wish I would have known this, or you guys would have came into my life a lot sooner. Why? Even though some people say you changed when you went to AZ. Which I'm like, good. I needed a change, because what happens to people that don't change, they stay just stagnant, right?
And I think they see us so different. They see us different in a different light. There's something about you that's changed. It's not the same anymore. I've lost many, many friends when Carla Araujo started to rise. And I talk to them now occasionally here and there if they message me through Facebook, but that's probably the only communication anyone gets with me. And it's kind of neat in a way, because even though they used to be friends years ago, for them to ask me now, how are you doing and things like that, our conversations that I can carry on will be like a sentence. Okay. It's like we have nothing in common. But it's great, because I think the only one that was all in that relationship was the Carla who really wasn't Carla.
Right.
So now when I carry these conversations with people, the woman I am today, a lot of people cannot accept that. But I've always been that woman. I guess I wasn't surrounded, or I would kind of hold myself back by many, reasons in my life. But the people who used to know me, that's not who I am anymore.
Yeah.
And somehow I don't know them anymore. They're not my friends. They're not people I associate myself with. I don't know. They just can't accept the Carla that is the Carla, or, somehow the new Carla would be a joke to them. And so to me, it's like you just haven't arrived.
Right.
You're still hiding in the shadow yourself. So it's not against me. And I love that. That's what we have here at A.Z. Associates.
Right.
It's like,
it's not only about a brokerage where you guys teach about real estate. I've grown, and I can have my family and friends attest to it. I've grown in so many other levels, like mentally, emotionally. Like, I actually am able to show up, and I've become such a better version of myself.
Right.
I feel,
right.
and I would have to say, it's the things that I've learned with you guys is, you don't just baby. You don't expect to be babied if you come here, but expect to rise and grow. I can tell you that.
And that's it, guys. Exactly what it is. You're not going to be babied. I always tell that to people. I mean, if you're here for us to hold your hand and baby you and telling you everything's going to be okay and real estate's great, you're going to make a ton of money, yes, you will and you can if you do the work.
Exactly.
But we definitely are not going to baby you and hold you and say, let me lead the way. It's like we will be walking and leading that way, and you'll see us. It's not like I think this is what you should do. It's like, hey, this is our lives, this is what we do, and it works, and so we do this, but it's not something that we're just kind of telling you to do, right? It's not like, let me hold your hand. And so that I love that, Betty. So thank you for joining me again.
My
I know
pleasure.
I said that before, but
Yes.
I just love to talk to you. There's so much. Before this podcast, we were like on a whole rant of a whole hour of having a conversation. Well, I just adore you, and thank you for joining me today, Betty.
Thank you.
Anybody who is wanting to make the change or come and check out A.Z. Associates, go into badassagents.com and register. Click on the link. Give us a call. Walk into one of our offices. But if you want more and to know more about us, go into badassagents.com, fill out the application, and we will contact you. Everyone have a great day. Talk to you soon.